Hey guys, I know a lot of you really want to retake your test for Algebra 1 on your 1, 2, and multi-step equations along with the types of solutions to multi-step equations. So, here's the thing you need to do. You need to take notes on what we're going to go over in this video. Then you're going to have to post them into Canvas. And once you do that, you are able to retake the quiz the next day. The reason why we want you to practice is so that way you're ready for the test. The retake, of course. So, let's look over some similar problems that are on your retake, as well as that were on your test. So, question number 1 says determine the type of solution for the equation, meaning you need to tell us if it's a one solution, no solution, and the one solution would have an x with it, no solution, or infinite many solutions. So let's start distributing first and see what we're going to get. So I have my equation here. First, I need to distribute this -7 to this p, which is going to give me a -7p. Then we need to distribute the -7 to the -5. A negative times a negative is a positive. 7 times 5 is what? 35. Draw my line for the equal sign. Since I didn't do anything to the left side, I'm just going to bring it straight down because I didn't do anything yet to it. So now, make sure your p's are on the left side. So we need to get rid of this -7p right here. What I'm going to do is going to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. So I'm going to add 7p to both sides. On the left side it cancels. All I'm left with is 36 equals, oh no, if these two cancel, and I bring my 35 down, is 36 and 35 the same number? Nope. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a slash through the equal sign, and the solution that we're going to choose is no solution. Let's move to the next one. Number 2 says, what is the solution to the following equation? So in this case, we're going to figure out what v, as in Victor, equals. So draw your line through your equal sign. You're going to distribute first this -3 to this v. What's a -3 times v? Just a -3v. Then you need to distribute the -3 to the 4, because remember, everything in the parentheses needs to be distributed and multiplied by. So -3 times a +4, since they're opposite signs, it's going to be negative. 3 times 4 is 12. Let's look on my right side and see if I can combine anything. Nope. So all I'm going to do is bring it straight down. So we want all of our v's to be on the left side. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite of a positive 2v, which is a negative 2v. So I'm going to subtract 2v from both sides. So if I have a -3v and a -2v, that's going to be a -5v. And I didn't do anything to that 12, so I'm going to bring it straight down. So now, get rid of that 12. The opposite of a -12 is a +12. So we're going to add 12 to both sides. What is 37 minus 12? Sorry, -37 plus a 12 is -25. I'm going to bring down my -5v because those cancel. What's the last step? To get v by itself. Divide by -5. Now remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I have v equals 25 divided by 5 is a +5. So there's the solution. It'll say v equals random numbers, but you need to make sure that you select v equals -5 if that was one of the questions on there. Let's move to the next one. So the next one, it says we're going to do the same thing as the first one. We're going to determine what type of solution for this equation. If you remember, the types of solution we have are no solution, one solution, and when it says one solution, sometimes there might be a little comma or something and x with some random number. No solution, one solution, or infinite solutions. Or infinitely many solutions. So, let's draw our line. We need to distribute again. Remember, distributing means I'm going to take this 4, the outside number, and multiply it by everything in the parenthesis sign. So 4 times k is just going to be 4k. Then I'm going to multiply this 4 times this negative 8. A negative times a positive is a negative, since they're opposite signs. 4 times 8 is 32. Now I didn't do anything to this side, so I'm just going to bring it straight down. So the next step you would need to do is combine your 4's. So I'm going to move this positive 4k on my right side to the opposite side, or sorry, to the other side. So I'm going to do the opposite equation, which is minus 4k to both sides. Oh no, look, they both cancel. But look, is negative 32 still a negative 32? Yeah. So in this case, if they're both the same number, it's going to be infinite solutions. You can also see from above, this 4k minus 32, it was the same equation on both sides. So if you notice that, you can know instantly that it's infinite solutions. But double check and combine all of your k's or variables to one side just to make sure. We're on to number 4. Which equation only has one solution? So for this, you're actually going to have to do the math for every single one of them to figure out which one has one solution. So I have negative 14 times d, which would give me a negative 14d. Negative 14 times a 5 is going to give me a positive number. Oops, not positive 5, sorry. What is 14 times 5? That's going to be 70. Oops. And since I didn't do anything to this side, I'm just going to bring it down. Remember the last one we noticed that these were exactly the same? So if these are exactly the same, this is an infinite solution. But the question is actually asking a one solution. So we know it's not A. So let's try B out and see if we get lucky. Negative 17 times a y is negative 17y. A negative times a negative is a positive. 17 times 2 is going to be what? 34. So we can move our 17 over. I'm going to add 17 to both sides. I'm going to move from the right to the left. Oh no, both of them cancel. I have 34 equals 64. Is that what type of solution? No solution. So in this case, we're looking still for one solution, so it can't be B. Let's try C and D. Alright, so for C, we really don't need to distribute. We don't need to distribute, actually. So let's combine our like terms. Remember to carry the sign in front of it. So I have negative 25b plus a 35b, which is going to be what? 10b. I didn't do anything to this plus 1, so I'm just going to bring it down. Let's look on the other side. Oh look, they're exactly the same. So, what type of solution is this? Infinite solutions. So this can't be it. But you have to double check your last one, just in case you accidentally did your math wrong. It happens to all of us, so always do the last one just in case. 3 times x is going to be 3x. 3 times 5 is 15. I didn't do anything to the other side, so I'm just going to bring it straight down. I'm going to move this negative 4x to my positive 3x. by adding a 4x to both sides. So that way it cancels out on the right. On the right, I'm left with 8. I'm going to bring this 15 down. What's 3 plus 4? 7x. Now I can get rid of the negative 15. I'm sorry, I can get rid of the positive 15 by subtracting. So I'm going to move 15 to the other side by subtracting. 8 minus a 15. Well, if I have $8 and you take 15 away from me, I'm sorry, yeah, you take 15 away from me, and you're going to owe me money, and you're owe me $7. Now you're going to be the one who owes me money. In order to get x by itself, I would divide both sides by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1, but a negative divided by a positive is a negative 1. So in this case, let's look back at our answer. Which equation only has one solution? D. Now you had some similar questions on your last test for this one. For what value of x is the equation true? So all you're going to do is you're going to distribute is one way. Another way you could do it is plug in each of these answers into x and see which one it is. That might take just a little bit of time, so it's completely up to you. So I distributed my negative 5 to my x and got negative 5x. And I distributed my negative 5 to the positive one. Since they're opposite signs, I'm going to get a negative 5. I want all my x's onto the left side, so I'm going to get rid of this negative 2x by adding it to both sides. Make sure you pair up x's with only x's. We noticed that some of you guys were combining like negative 5x and a negative 5 to get a negative 10x, and that's not right. Remember, x's only stay with x's, non-x's stay with non-x's. A negative 5 plus a 2 is a negative 3x. Now I need to get negative 3x by itself by adding 5 to both sides. Bring down my negative 3x. And the last thing to do is divide both sides by a negative 3. So the negative 3's are going to cancel. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So let's look at my answers. Looks like it's going to be C. Alright, get ready for the last one. Alright, last one. Determine the type of solution for this equation. So remember, the types of solution we have are no solution, one solution, and infinite solutions. So let's solve. Draw your line. On the left side, can I distribute? Nope. So let's distribute on the right side. This 7 to the p, which is just going to be 7p. And since I'm not doing anything on the left side, I can just bring it down. Then take 7 and multiply it by the 6. Have to multiply everything in the parentheses when you're doing distributive property. 7 times 6 is what? 42. I'm going to bring down that minus 5 because I didn't do anything to it. On my right side, I can combine my positive 42 and minus 5. What is 42 minus 5? 37. So I'm going to just bring everything else down. Alright. Let's move our 7p to the other side. Since it's a positive, I'm going to subtract 7p from both sides. 6p minus a 7p is actually going to give me a negative 1p. And since I didn't do anything to that 30, I can just bring it straight down. Can you guess what kind of solution this is so far? Good. Let's see if you're right. Get rid of the 30. What's the opposite of a positive 30? Negative 30. So then I would get 7 equals negative 1p. Remember that negative 1 is still attached